we can save this for anybody that wants it for later. So everyone's good if I mute you, and then I'm going to share my screen.
Okay. Del. Hi, Del.
Hello.
Can you see that? Okay, now can you nod and tell me if you can see that screen? Creating your digital, great. That's the only trouble with muting you, now I can't hear you. All right, so today we're going to be talking about leaving a memorable legacy without missing out yourself. And hopefully, because we're doing this by Zoom, it won't be as hands-on as it would have been if we did face-to-face. So my plan is that we'll do the 5-week course online and you'll have a bit of homework each week. And we'll cover and get the feedback from each of you. And then hopefully in July sometime we can all meet up and catch up and, you know, help each other with anything that we haven't been able to do on our own. We probably won't start on the Snapfish until about the 3rd or 4th week. We've already done the 30-second introductions. I thought I'd do that before I started recording, just because you all won't want every man and his dog to hear your story, perhaps. So what you need to start. Now, I'm pretty sure you've all already signed up on the talent release form and the Health My Way online forms. But if not, it's not a worry. Stick with us today. And at the end of this, just give me a call or email me and say, hey, I haven't done it yet. If you've forgotten where to find the forms, then we'll go from there. You need your own laptop or desktop computer, obviously, to see this Zoom meeting in the first place. A commitment to attend all 5 Zoom workshops. So that's more to do with our funding. If there's a week you miss, then we understand and we will record it. Great attitude, willingness to learn new skills, friendly and happy, a willingness to meet new people, and patience. Patience with me too, because, you know, like everybody, Zoom's been a new experience as we've gone into this whole new COVID-19 world, and we don't all learn at the same pace, so it's a willingness to be patient with each other. I talk about one of the things that's why I love doing this is the passion for helping people find purpose. And there we go. I've read this book. It's a very little book, Ikigai. It's a Japanese secret to a long and happy life. And basically the theory is what you love. If you can find what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for, you'll have your Ikigai and you'll have happiness, passion, mission, profession, and vocation. Now, in retirement, we're not so worried about getting paid, but it's nice to get some pocket money if we want to. But really, you know, I see this project, writing your life story, if you like, or whatever you want to leave behind, as being finding your Ikigai. It gives you purpose, and you're not just sitting around waiting to die. So we've got some stats on loneliness, brain health, physical health, mental health, staying engaged, as I said, not waiting to die, and fear of being alone. The loneliness, some of you might have seen this if you've been to one of my national seniors meetings, but we do get to new stuff. I just want to cover all this as a bit of background as to, I guess, why I want to do this and why it's of value to you. But the odds ratio for dying earlier of loneliness is 45% compared to 30% for excessive drinking, 20% for obesity, and 5% for air pollution. So having a sense of community and being part of a group and having, you know, people around you goes a long way to, you know, life longevity and happiness. So how do you get good brain health? You need to exercise and challenge your brain. You need to nourish it with a healthy diet. You need to enjoy physical activity, and you only need 2.5 to 3 hours a week. So it's not like, you know, you've got to be you know, Mr. What's his name? I've forgotten his name. Schwarzenegger. You know, we just need to keep moving because it keeps the blood circulating, and manage stress and depression. Human mental decline typically begins before 40. Would you believe that? So now that we're at this age and whatever we've done, this is where we're at. But we can at least slow the process down moving forward. Keep your brain active. Do anything. It doesn't matter what it is that makes you think. Avoid using calculators when you can. That doesn't mean you can't check your calculations with your calculator to be sure you're right. And swap the TV for mind games or a book. There's a brainfoundation.org.au with lots of good stuff on it, which is worth checking out. Would you believe your brain's storage capacity to remember things is 1,000 terabytes? That's equivalent to 2 billion books or 500,000 films. And we look now and, you know, as we get older, we're all doing it. I know, we're all doing it. We're thinking of things that happened when we were younger. We're remembering more about when we were younger. And that's what we need to do. We need to record it while we think of it. And I think one of the things that I'd like to be, you know, to get people not being pedantic about is getting the facts exactly right when we're going through this process, because you'll get yourself caught up on checking exact information, and you don't need to. As Mary said, she's my sister. I have 8 siblings, and if you listen to us talk about an event or a family gathering, we've all got a different version of it. So there's never an accurate version. The only accurate version is your version. So it doesn't matter if you saw flies on the wall and somebody else didn't, or, you know, you saw unicorns, or you remembered, you know, something that someone else didn't. It's your memory, and it doesn't, and as far as that goes, that's factual. One of the things that that is important in keeping our health and improving our health is having good sleep. And I didn't actually bring this book, but I've just bought a book by Dr. Michael Mosley about sleeping better and how important it is to our brain. And the REM sleep, which I think it's 90-minute cycles. I can do a little bit more on that if anybody's interested, but it's vital for cleaning our brains and sorting our memories. So when your brain is really befuddled, it's probably because you're not getting enough good REM sleep. So it also really helps to resolve our emotional issues. Okay, how do we overcome loneliness and isolation, that sense of isolation? We stay socially active, and in this time with COVID, of course, doing that is through Zoom. Make new friends, reconnect with old friends. And it was great to see some people recognising people they knew that they didn't know were going to be on the, you know, on the Zoom meeting today. You know, that reconnection's awesome. Family connections, it doesn't matter whether it's every day, every month, every week. You know, connect with your family. Don't get hung up if they come and visit you or you come and visit them. Just touch base and keep in contact. Staying fit and healthy. Keep your brain active, improve your mind health, have a supple body, and write a gratitude journal. So what's stopping you from doing what you would like to do? Is it finances? Is it your garden? I don't know how many people I hear say, oh, we can't go anywhere, our garden will die while we're away. Pets, the same thing with pets. It's great to have pets, but if you haven't got a backup plan where you can leave them and trust someone else with your pets, and it's stopping you from doing other things, you know, think really hard about it. But I mean, pets are important. Housework, who cares if the house is dirty today? And people, you know, do people stop you? Like, don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. Give it a go, even if you think you can't. Doesn't matter, you've tried. So this is just a little spiel that I really liked, and I'll go through it quickly. When there are lovely people in your life that behave in different ways to you, how do you just notice the best of them? By practicing the best of you, whether the best of them is showing up or not. By not needing the best of them to create the best of you. By not being so conditional that the best of you can't show up unless it's the best of them. by not turning all of your power over to their behaviour. I've recently had an experience where I had one person dominate a group and really spoil it for everybody, not just me. And it's very, very hard not to let that person take control. It's something you've got to sort of really diligently look at. And by loving the way you feel. So what will motivate you? Joining a group, making new friends, conversation starter ideas, sharing memories, and leaving a lasting legacy, which is what we're all here for today. We're doing all of those. We're a part of a group, we're making new friends. Everyone else's ideas are going to trigger ideas in your head to make your book even better. You're sharing your memories and you're going to end up leaving a lasting legacy. Oh, I meant to delete that one. I'll take that out. Okay, so what are we doing? We're choosing photos, telling the story of each photo, keepsakes. We're scanning our photos and dot pointing our stories, and then we're planning our album. Okay, now this is what we're going to do. I'll come back on to speaker in a minute, but what we're going to do today, and this is your homework, is what I want you to do in the next week is to start writing. Keep a notepad handy, write things as you think of them, start choosing your photos, pick photos that evoke memories, write your memories, and enjoy the journey. Look at my typo there. And that's when the fun begins. So what we're doing this week we're looking at the gifts of memories, remembering now. Next week we'll look at writing and capturing those memories in more detail. And then the gift of family, who to involve and how. Then we'll look at the gift of creativity, finding your creative streak. And then we'll look at the gift of achievement, bringing it all together. And then as I said earlier, graduation, post-COVID-19 restrictions, meet and greet and share your journey album. I guess what I want to finish up before I come back off and put you back on unmute is avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. The fearful are caught as often as the bold. Now, I'll get out of that. Just bear with me 2 secs while I get back to you guys. This is what I had fun with before too. Stop share. Unmute everybody. Can you talk now? Okay, can someone talk so I know I've unmuted you properly?
Hello.
Yes. Yep, awesome. Okay. Now it's telling me we've got 4 minutes and 40 seconds left. If they do disconnect us, I will reconnect straight away so we can keep talking. And if you can reconnect, that will be awesome. How does that sound?
Can you hear me, Desley?
I can.
Oh, good. I unmuted myself.
Oh, no, that's all right. Everybody else is unmuted as well, so it's all good.
All right, because I can see some people still have mute on my screen. Julie Crockett. Julie, can you speak?
They're all...
It's not unmuted. Right.
Can you hear me now?
Bruce tells me he's still muted.
Oh, yes, I see that.
Yeah, all right. So really, I guess what I wanted to do today was just inspire you all. Have I achieved that?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
And I didn't want to give you too much to do that's too onerous today. So I think Dennis and Peter, was it, that have already collated their stories. So you probably don't have a lot to do in the next week. But what I'd like you to do away from the group is grab yourself a journal. It can be just an exercise book. It doesn't have to be pretty. Doesn't matter whether it's any time of the day or night when you're watching TV or whatever. If a memory comes to you that you'd like to, that you'd like to include in either your eulogy, your historical stories or whatever, that you can do that, you write it down so that you don't forget. and then start looking at your photos. What I did, I'll just show you a couple of the books that I've done. And again, if we were face to face, I could show you more. But this is, can you see that? This is one I did for my mother when she was in a home in Embracia in Deception Bay. Basically, we put it all together. There's lots of stuff missing, but what it was something that they had at the home. Anytime she got any visitors, there was a journal. People had something, and conversation started. They had something to talk about. So you're not just sitting around talking about nothing. They flick through, and if they saw a photo that brought back a memory, they had something to talk about with mum. I did that one, unfortunately, on Creative Memories. So I can't add to that because Creative Memories have gone bust in Australia, which is why I'm recommending a larger group like Snapfish for saving your records in this one. This one is my wedding album, which I had a voucher with Creative Memories that I had to use by a certain time. So I didn't put any stories in it. It's just photos because I had to use the voucher, but it's still a good record. And this is my latest one, which is done on Snapfish. And this is the sort of thing that we'll be talking about today. Is I've got photos in it and I've got little stories as well. And so again, I've done this for the purpose of this exercise, but it's also for my grandson. So this is online now. I've got lots of stuff I want to keep adding to it, but I was able to print it up as I go along on special, you know, it cost $20 or something, so that I've got it physically to say, oh, I need to stick this in here or that in there, or add to it. And that's the beauty of using Snapfish. You've got that digital online record as long as Snapfish.
Desley, can I just interrupt? We've got less than a minute, my computer's telling me on this.
Yeah, so if it disconnects us, I will reconnect. And so if everybody just reconnects, then we'll get back on. I'm sort of kind of considering that they won't disconnect us because they didn't last time, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. Yeah. So how does that all sound to everybody?
Good.
Can I just say that Debbie, Desley, Bruce, Carol and Cheryl are still on mute. Now they should be able to press on their little button where their phone.
Oh,
there
yes.
you go. You fixed it, Desley. Yeah, Deb, good. Bruce, press that red little thing on the side of your screen.
No.